Ever since you were a child, you were told certain things aren't real. Ghosts, angels, demons, vampires, werewolves. The monster under your bed, the one in your closet. It's a comforting thing we've all been told all of our lives. But what do you do when you find out that the monster under the bed isn't so imaginary? What do you do when you find the devil is real? Sometimes people find these things out, and that's when they come to me. Join me, Kevin Mears, demonologist, for a look at the paranormal on my new YouTube video, Paranormal Encyclopedia. We're going to be talking about the things that go bump in the night and why sometimes there really are such things. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in again to the Paranormal Encyclopedia. I'm your host, Kevin Mears. We're going to do kind of a short episode tonight. I want to update everybody on what's been going on, why it's been a while since my last episode, over a month, in fact. Unfortunately, I just moved. There's been a whole bunch of changes going on here. Some are very exciting, and I'm going to get to those in a second. But I just haven't been able to get around to doing episodes as often as I'd like. I'm definitely looking forward to, especially as the new year gets on, getting more content out there. I've got a bunch of great episodes filmed that we're having some technical problems with editing. I should get those to you within the next month. I'm also bringing on a new co-host, the remarkable Drew Rosansky. If you all will remember my episode about the witch trials, that gentleman is now going to be the co-host of the show. Unfortunately, Drew's not available tonight, so I'm going to do a quick mini episode about Christmas. First, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year's. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Solstice. Joyous Kwanzaa, whatever your holiday of choice is, Merry Yule, whatever your holiday of choice is, I wish you a wonderful one. And as I always like to say to all of my atheist friends out there, just convert to theism already. We have all the best holidays. Just a little joke. Well, actually, we're going to talk about Christmas. We're going to specifically talk about December 25th and why we celebrate Christmas on December 25th. Now, most of you, like me, have probably heard the story for years. Oh, the Christians took it from a pagan holiday, and Jesus was born in the summer or something. But why? Now, we all take this as established fact at this point, for the most part. Everybody knows this is true. But one thing I want to get across when I'm dealing with more historical topics here is what everyone knows to be true is often completely wrong. We don't know when Jesus was born. I mean, I can't say it with absolute certainty. I am going to lay out a pretty good biblical and historical case for it having actually happened in December or January. For those who don't know, in the Orthodox Church, they celebrate Christmas on January 6th instead of December 25th. But there are reasons for this, and it's not just because of a pagan holiday. So let's talk. I'm going to be looking down more because this took a lot of notes to get the information. Let's talk about some of there's a couple of pagan holidays everybody talks about when they think about Christmas, where Christmas came from. The first is winter solstice. Let's be clear. Christmas Eve is December 24th. Christmas Day is December 25th. Christian tradition says Jesus was born on midnight, Christmas Day. Just after the end of the 24th, anyway. Now, winter solstice is very close. It's December 21st through the 23rd. But it's the 21st through the 23rd. It's not the exact same day. A lot of the other ones, again, there's another very common one, which was a very important Roman holiday called Saturnalia. Well, Saturnalia originally was December 17th, and just the 17th. And then it was expanded to a week, again ending on December 23rd. Not the 24th, not the 25th. Probably the two most common you'll hear these days are Sol Invictus and Mithras' feast day. Sol Invictus was an important Roman celebration with the unconquered sun. That is first, and yeah, it's December 25th. It's first mentioned in 354 AD. So, the first records we have of the Mithras cult having a holiday on December 25th are also 4th century. On the other hand, the commentary of the book of Daniel specifically mentions December 25th, and that was in 204 AD, a century before there's any records of Sol Invictus or the Mithras holiday taking place on December 25th. And again, the thing is, most of the people, when they point and go, "Oh, it can't have been in December," they're pointing at Luke 2:8, which tells us that shepherds were tending their flock at night. The thing is, in Europe, in America, in the climates most of the people saying, "Oh, this proves it couldn't have been in December," are used to. Shepherds don't take out their sheep in the middle of December because it's freezing cold. We're not talking about Northern Europe. We're not talking about Northern U.S. We're talking about Israel. We're talking about Bethlehem. They're not nearly as cold. They're at completely different places in relation to the equator. It's much warmer, even into December. We know, even in modern times, that places in the same region have shepherds out, even in late December. That's not actual legitimate proof that it wasn't in December. It doesn't prove it was, but you can't just dismiss it out of hand because you're talking about two completely different climates. But, okay, so why December 25th? The Bible doesn't give a date. This is absolutely true. You can't find anywhere in Scripture that gives you the date. There are some early church leaders that talk about the date and actually do mention December 25th. But there are biblical clues to when he was born. Now, St. John the Baptist, who's very important, is believed to have been born on June 24th. Now, 3 months before he was born, 6 months into his mother's pregnancy, was the Annunciation. You can find that in Luke 1:36. 3 months before June 24th, you're dealing with March 25th. How do we know that the birthday of John the Baptist? Well, we're told in Luke 1:5 that his father Zacharias was serving the courts of Baius at the time that he was told that he was to have a child. Now, we know, based on a bunch of historical things relating to the course of Baius being, I believe, the 8th course, and the first course having happened around the time of the destruction of the temple, basically we know that the course of Baius would have been near the end of September. We don't know exactly when, but sometime in late September. So, if we add 9 months to the end of September, we're reaching March. If we conclude that the Annunciation, when Mary was told she was going to have Jesus, was the point when she became pregnant, not an unreasonable conclusion. 9 months from there, you get December 25th. But there's even more to suggest December 25th. And the proto-evangelism of St. James, which is from the 2nd century, confirms September. It confirms what I was talking about with the course of Baius and Zacharias happening in September. Again, June 24th, birth of John the Baptist. Add 6 months, you get December 25th. But wait, there's more. Pope St. Telesphorus established the Midnight Mass, which most Catholics in my audience probably know about. There's a Midnight Mass on Christmas Eve. That was established during his reign, which was 126 to 137 AD. St. Hippolytus, who is 170 to 240 AD, mentions December 25th in passing as the date of the birth. Further, March 25th has been suggested as the date of the crucifixion itself, and it was believed particularly by Emperor Constantine and others in the early centuries that Jesus, being the perfect human being, the perfect man, which Christians believe he was conceived and died on the same day. It doesn't prove it, certainly, but yeah, there's more going on than, oh, the Christians just picked some pagan holiday, and that's why it's December 25th. I will say one of the other common holidays people talk about is Yule. Here's the thing about Yule. Yule is older than Christmas. But the Christians' contact with the cultures that were practicing Yule came later, after they adopted December 25th. I would, in fact, Yule certainly was probably practiced when it was practiced before the Christians got involved. But I would certainly argue that Sol Invictus and Mithras may, in fact, have been a pagan response to the Christian practice of Christmas instead of the other way around. It doesn't prove the case, certainly, but if one came later, you got to realize Christianity did not dominate the Roman Empire. And I mean, it wasn't even legal in the Roman Empire until the reign of Constantine. And Constantine himself didn't convert to Christianity until near the end of his life. It wasn't this big, powerful force in the Roman Empire. As early as we know, December 25th was a Christian holiday. Again, I can't prove that it was December 25th. I'm not saying you're wrong if you feel it was December 25th. I'm just saying stop ragging on Catholics and other Christians who choose to practice it on December 25th. The case is stronger than you realize, and your evidence that it's not is weaker than you realize, because no, again, it's not true that shepherds wouldn't have had sheep out in the fields at this time of year. You're not thinking about where we're talking about. There's a lot more I could say about Christmas. Certainly a lot of other trappings of Christmas that are now associated with Christianity come from pagan religions. Gift giving, for example, started among the Romans. There's a whole Roman tradition with the masters waiting on their slaves, and then usually wind up killing their slaves, to be completely honest. Or at least some of their slaves. There is the Yule log and the Christmas tree, which have Germanic and Norse roots. Santa Claus is an interesting combination in the fact that, yes, St. Nicholas is a well-documented historical figure, and I think probably him and Krampus are going to be a coming soon future episode, because they're too interesting not to discuss in their own right. But the figure of Santa Claus is a combination of the Norse god Odin, some fairy tradition, and the actual historical figure of St. Nicholas. So it's not really one single thing. But certainly these things are pagan trappings that got added to Christmas. The date itself is an open question. It's not as neatly resolved as everybody assumes it is. And please, by all means, do some research. Look this up. We're gonna provide a link. Should be right here, I hope, where you can find some more information and you can see, well, why was the Feast of Emmaus at the end of September? It's a very long, complicated conversation I didn't really want to get into, which is why I'm not getting into it here. But you can find the evidence for that. You can find the case being made for that. And this is something to keep in mind. Don't take my word for it. Don't assume I'm wrong just because everyone says so. That's not the way to approach things. Question things. Ask why. Look it up. Do your own research and draw your own conclusions. Because a lot of what you're being told is true isn't. And again, yeah, a lot of aspects of Christmas were borrowed from the pagans. That's perfectly fair. A lot of other Christian holidays, Easter certainly borrows some things from the pagans. And we'll be getting into that closer to Easter, because we're going to do holiday specials. We're going to talk about Easter. We're going to talk about St. Patrick's Day and all of the fun that is St. Patrick. He's a very colorful Catholic saint. I will give you a bit of a spoiler about the Easter episode when we get to Easter, and say that, yeah, Isis is pronounced Isis, not Easter. That stupid internet meme that's going around is about how it's all the pagan goddess Isis is a load of horse manure. Do your own research. In the meantime, certainly look up what actual Egyptologists say, and they'll tell you what's wrong with that nonsense. And we'll get into the actual origins of Easter and why we celebrate it when we do, coming up in the spring, closer to Easter, because if we're going to talk about Easter, we should talk about Easter when it happens. Some other things to look forward to coming up. We've got a bunch of guests we're working on. Should be exciting. I don't want to do too many spoilers yet because I'm still getting confirmations. But I've got neat people that have agreed to come on. Some authors, a musician, some other really cool people. Also, I want to open up the floor. If anybody's got some questions, comments, concerns, put them in the comments. You can also email me at kevinm.paranormalencyclopedia@gmail.com. You can go to our website, paranormalencyclopedia.webs.com. You can post things on our messenger board. Let us know what you're thinking. All I'm really going to ask you folks is keep it mature. I don't need, I will respond to reasonable comments, even if you want to say that you think I'm wrong. Tell me why I'm wrong. Provide sources to show that I'm wrong. Don't just call me an idiot because I don't support your particular viewpoint. I'm backing up what I say with sources. If you can't do the same, expect to get blocked. I don't have time for children. But I think that about wraps us up. I want to again say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, although I apologize for that being a little late. Joyous Kwanzaa, Happy Yule, Merry Solstice, Happy New Year, and Merry Festivus for the rest of us. And once again, for our atheist friends out there, convert. Come on, you know we have the better holidays. Good night, everyone.